Good morning. It is a Wednesday. We've got rain falling in parts of the Bay Area, Northern California. Some reports of scattered showers all night in some of those fire zones. It's going to be cooler today than it has been. That helps firefighting efforts a lot. And that's the big story is we've got this fall-like weather pattern that has sort of entrenched itself, right? I mean, it's not going away anytime soon. It's sticking around. It will warm up again, but not for the next couple of days as this low pressure offshore, and you'll see it kind of lingers around. So here are some of those scattered showers now. Up around Red Bluff, up east of Covelo, just outside of Chico, out by Calusa. We have, let's see, I can go to another scan here. This is the radar scopes. This is live radar. This is as of about 10 o'clock this morning, and then we'll go up north a little bit, and then you've got more activity up in these zones, up around Mount Shasta, Klamath Falls, and up into Oregon. So again, the Pacific Northwest, let's see how much rain they're getting up here. We could do this too. The Pacific Northwest doing okay for rainfall in terms of dealing with these fires, because there's a lot of fires, not just in California. There's a few fires in California. But I'm not showing a ton of rain, but you get the idea. Like some pretty significant rainfall on the northwest coast of California and Oregon and Washington. And you get numbers like this. These are some of the rainfall accumulations. This is from California Nevada River Forecast Center. These are the last 24 hours. So, right, you can do with it what you will. But last 24 hours, that's almost a half inch of rain up in these northern climes. So there's some big fires burning up there. We talked about that. 0.36 just outside of Eureka, up on the hills by Fortuna. A half inch out here. I'm not sure exactly where we are here. Out just east of Weaverville, off of 299, a half inch of rain. So these areas are really going to have substantial improvement in containment on fires. And we'll see that as we look into tomorrow, or not to tomorrow, as we look into by tomorrow the next day when we look at some of the containment numbers on the fires, which is awesome. So those fires are pretty big, and they've been burning much of the summer. This number's anomalous, is 3.23 inches. That didn't happen. And sometimes you get that with these sensing systems. But for the most part, I mean, Marin County, Santa Rosa, let's see, Santa Rosa, 1/4 of an inch nearly up out by Windsor, anywhere from 0.04 of an inch. Let's come in closer. So maybe your rain gauge is different, but this is all significant stuff. Does a bunch of stuff. It tamps down those fires in the north, helps the fires in the west or the south, throughout the western United States, but in the south part of California for sure. Increases fuel moisture for potential down the road fires. And again, it'll get dry. And the fire danger will go back up. That's just how it works. But this prolongs the opportunity, prolongs less opportunity for fire. So San Francisco just 0.01. Marin County yesterday had 0.25. Today they got about 0.20. And then we can see East Bay Hills did pretty well. Santa Cruz Mountains, you did pretty well, 0.20. I realized yesterday I was looking at I was watching the rain map thing I did yesterday, and I was like, I got to spend more time on it because I know you guys are like, I live here. I want to see what it looks like. In other words, I want to see if my rain gauge matches up. Down on Santa Barbara, 0.02 of an inch of rain. You're like, that's nothing, but it helps. It really does. It has a huge impact on fuel moistures, and that's about it. So we're not seeing any activity really up on the Garnett Fire. But we do see some activity up around Lake Tahoe. And then this Reno number this north of Carson City, this Reno number looks a little bit anomalous. But, I mean, right? Awesome. So with that, we got a smile on our faces. Redding today is going to go 92, or pardon me, Redding today is going to go 79. The average for this day in climatology for Redding is 92 degrees, so 12, 13 degrees below the average. That's the trend today. Temperature is generally 10 degrees below the average. Throughout the state of California, you can clearly see the rotation. Harder to see the smoke that was around, but a lot going on. This is fall at its finest right here. It's not really fall yet. We're not to the equinox, but you are seeing fall-like pattern develop. A lot of that smoke has had an opportunity to blow off. The Garnet fire, we're still at 15% containment. Looks like they lost a little bit of containment there. But, you know, this clouds help. This is a picture of that fire zone. And I can't push forward on a fast forward, but what I can show you is the smoke, right? It's settling down in the morning, but now you can see the clouds coming in. That's just straight up dew points increasing, relative humidity, same thing, essentially. Not the same thing, but representing essentially the moisture in the atmosphere. So the smoke clearing a little bit down in Fresno, down in those areas. There are some smoke issues up around Bishop, and that's because the smoke from the Garnet fire is pushing over the hill. We'll see some of that coming up in later video. But this is a log fire. So these areas, we're going to tune into these fires in the northern part of the state, and they're going to be, see how that's grayed out around it? That means there's more containment. That's just a visual clue. So the log fire and the blue fire, peak fire and the cedar fire are all going to have significant increases in containment as we go into this afternoon. This is out by Corning. This, I think, picks up some rain. Is this Corning? Yeah, it's, you know what it is? It's a little further north. It's up shooting out of the Central Valley where it was raining just in the last few minutes. And you can see the scattered showers going through. So, and that's south of the fire zone. So there's more rain falling on the fire zones. Makes me happy to see this, right? Just, I mean, friends, the guys at CAL FIRE, the men and women at CAL FIRE too. I mean, that's a hard job. I mean, to just day in, day out, they've been fighting fires since summer started, and they're just going. Some of them with shovels, some of them jumping out of airplanes, some of them flying Blackhawks all night. I mean, it's probably groovy like the first couple of days because you're digging it. But I think it's like, at that point, it's like a war. I mean, I think, you know, it's like you're in it. You're like this. I'm getting tired of this. So I love that they got work to do, but this is a huge, huge support. I mentioned dense smoke advisory out by Bridgeport and Markleeville, a red flag warning in eastern Nevada and other parts of the Nevada area. This is near that dense, that smoke for looking at the Owens Valley out towards Bishop. But you see the smoke, kind of see how it settles in. Now you see the moisture coming in. You're like, well, that's not raining. Yeah, it's not raining, but it's infusing atmospheric moisture. And atmospheric moisture has a huge impact on fuel moisture. I keep saying that only because that's interesting. Let's look at that last piece again. Did you see? I'm not sure. Okay, I see that cumulus cloud development there. I wonder. Let me see where we are. Sorry. I mean, this is the risk of doing this with me. So Bishop, where would that be? Madera. Yeah. Okay. So that is the fire plume, the heat from the Garnet fire busting through the inversion. Beauty of live pictures, right? I didn't know that was there, and we can kind of see some of the heat. That's how big the fire is. But we are looking right towards the Garnet fire from basically the other side of Owens Valley. And you're seeing, I believe that's what we're seeing, is this bubbling up of the heat. There's some moisture interacting as well. It's not just a busting the inversion, or not even, yeah, it's a small inversion because of this morning's cool air. But it's also using some of that smoke particulate to create some energy as well. So, yeah, well, that's interesting. Look at the air quality. That's Franny. And you can see we've got air quality, Franny the dog, little dogs. It's funny, sometimes I can't train her not to bark. I might have to go out there, though. It's guaranteed it's a UPS guy. Okay, so we've got Pacific Northwest. Here we go. All right, I'm going to go get the dog. 1 second. Hey, sorry to do this to you, but you guys are cool. Come on, Franny. Franny, you're good. Stop. All right. Do you guys remember that story? It's hilarious. It wasn't hilarious because it's sort of animal abuse, but it wasn't horrible animal abuse. This is PurpleAir. As you would guess, the air quality is awesome. Oh. And then you see right here, that's the UPS guy. So you can see right here we have the Garnett Fire Zone. I was going to say the Vallejo guy, the mayor of Vallejo. This is back during COVID when we had to move our studios from, I'm going to keep going. Like I want to edit it, but I'm just like, something will change. Sorry. But we had to come home and do weather from home. And this guy had a Zoom meeting with the city council. And he, like in my case, I had Molly, the cat, right? So she'd be here, and she was, because I was in her room, and there was a lot of pets showing up on Zoom things. So this guy, his cat shows up, and this cat, it's kind of cool, right? It's like, hey, I got a cat, I'm on the Zoom meeting, blah, blah, blah. In front of, I think it was the whole city council. The cat just mauls this dude's hand, and he grabs the cat, flings it. That's not cool at all. Outrage, complete outrage. And so when I think about Franny barking, I would never. My dad's a veterinarian. I love animals, but anyway, that's just a little sorry. You guys, we've forgotten about COVID. One of these days, I'll tell you some stories about doing weather from home during COVID. It was awesome and sucked all at the same time. Okay, here's the smoke forecast. You can see, you know what you can see that's awesome here? I hope you enjoy seeing this. I thought I got rid of these pop-ups. Okay. See how that south wind, that low, that's smoke, and that's where it's all going. And if I put a loop on it, you should see it continue. I'm hoping I am right. Sometimes I'm not. Maybe this is it. Yeah, see it's blowing out in that way. It's that south wind. Awesome. Again, just an example of being able to see things and then in data, and then see them in pictures. Okay, let's see what's going to happen here. I believe this is Mount Tamalpais this morning. The marine layer is deep. And yes, it's deep. Yes, it's not even a good Mount Tam picture. So 2,500 foot marine layer, that sets us up with basically zero inversion. So instead of fog, we got what you would call low clouds. These are the temperatures from today, forecast for today. San Jose is forecast to be 75. San Jose is normally, this time of year, is 84 degrees for this day, for this time of year. Los Angeles today is going to be 77. They're normally 83 degrees. SAC is going to be 78. They're normally 90. And San Jose, did I do San Jose? Santa Barbara, 70 degrees today. Normally they're 75. Tomorrow, look what happens. Kind of, does it go down? Yeah, it goes up. It changes very little. So temperatures tomorrow, just about the same. No big changes. This pattern continues. HRRR, watch this afternoon. This is, right, look at that. Lakeport, that's it. That's this afternoon. It's interesting. This whole zone here, that's kind of looks like thunderstorm potential, but certainly significant rain. And it's in that. And by the way, dry lightning not really in the cards with this pattern, right? Because of the higher humidities, higher dew points, atmospheric moisture. So any activity is going to be, any thunderstorm activity I would assume would be accompanied by rainfall. So look at this. You're my friends up fighting those fires. You are stoked. And then Mount Lassen, Mount Shasta, some more showers. And then I think Lake Tahoe, maybe something out to over Reno. But then you see, this is the end of the day. So this is tomorrow morning. This is tonight. But you see some of that moisture just sitting offshore. So now we'll look at the GFS, same idea. Picks that up. This is that afternoon thing, right? So kind of both these models are going, yeah, I see something there. That must be that low, the core of that low coming on shore. And then there's still counterclockwise rotation into Thursday, into Friday, into Saturday and Sunday. A little warmer, and then it starts to dry out. But you see, and all of that activity, let's do this. Let's go 500 millibar. Thanks for putting up with Franny. I love her. I really do. I just never had a little dog. I didn't know the trials and tribulations that go with having a little puppy. Not a little puppy, but just a little dog who is, I don't want that, there it is, who is got a mind of her own. And big dogs, you could just kind of train them. Little dogs, I'm not doing the good. I'm not easily trainable. She's awesome though. She's like, it's like I said once before. She's like a monkey, horse, and a dog. Monkey, horse, and a dog. Yeah, monkey, horse, dog, and a cat. All those, it's like the same, right? It's like she's this big. I have no idea where that much personality comes from. Here is the trough that's bringing us the activity now. GFS vorticity. Awesome. The ridge, that nosy ridge coming in, that thing's nosing in. That is this Saturday. So the weekend a little bit drier and a lot drier and a little bit warmer. Maybe, back into the 80s. And then that tweaks through. And then that ridge, that's interesting, that pattern. So this ridge is trying to come back in. See how it keeps nosing between these two lows? I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this is a low, this is a low. This thing here is a ridge, that line, that. And it's trying to nose itself in. Nature. It's the way nature doesn't like a vacuum. Lows create vacuums. The high fills that in. And so we'll see if that happens. That's an interesting potential, because if those lows get pushed a little bit, it's a very warm period. The models are suggesting warmer than average, starting on about the 17th, a little above average. Okay, so let's not get too far into fantasy land. Okay, here is the parent low here. Here's the baby low here. And that's about it. Okay, let's look at the Kiko is not causing problems for the Hawaiian Islands anymore. This is a red flag warning. They got wind concerns up in eastern Nevada, Utah, and southern Idaho. This makes sense right here, because that low is tracking. That low, this is flood advisory stuff, concerns for heavy rainfall, which again, is it a concern this time of year? Not for me, man. Heavy rainfall in Oregon and Washington, where you had a lot of fires. It's awesome. Okay, so here's 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. Okay, so this starts on the 15th, which is when we just mentioned that it would start to warm up. So it looks like we're going to go a little above average starting on the 15th. How about rainfall? Near normal or a little below average in the Pacific Northwest. Okay, we've had our dose of rain. So this will turn into, starting on the 15th, we'll get back into hey, looks like fire, looks like red fire alert maybe, fire weather watch. It won't take much at this time of year, although this rain has helped a lot. This is let me see, it's funny, I set up a light different, and so it's hitting my eyes, and so I can barely see my screen. Wow, it's an old age thing. But this is the model for surf, wave height, and you look at that bad boy. This is tomorrow morning, but see that orange coming in? You can watch the East Coast if you're an East Coast guy, but look at this, nice little west swell this Friday. And then this is what I'm waiting for. See this, look at the Pacific, the Aleutian Islands. See those big red blobs coming in? Look at that bad boy. That is lit. See what the model does with it. Kind of diffuses it. Okay. Yeah, but the Pacific is on. It's on. Look at that. So the swell fields are starting to open up, indicating that the weather systems are more robust. And again, when you look at the up here, for a while, most of the summer, we weren't seeing any colors really in the surf. In other words, larger intervals or larger surf. And now we are. And now we are entering September, getting into mid-September. Ocean Beach, you could have surfed it this morning, 2 to 4. I thought about going, but it's coming on. It's ironic. The ironic thing about surfing in California, especially Northern California, is Ocean Beach gets really good right now, from now through about around Christmas. And then it's still good, it just gets weird big. But right now, I'd say late September, October, as good as it gets. It's probably one of the best waves in the world when it works on the right day. but it's also when the white sharks are trying to eat the seal pups that have just hatched up in Point Reyes and up in the Esteros and up in Bolinas and out Half Moon. I'm just off in the Farallons. Like, how ironic is that? Like, I mean, it's like, really, this is when they're everywhere, and they are. Like, that's when we see them, is October, November. This is Cardiff. South winds don't do much for Cardiff, don't do much for anything south of Point Conception. And that system is impacting them too. Them being our friends in Laguna Beach and Oceanside and San Diego. Like I said today, San Diego, 74 degrees for a daytime high. They're usually 78, so still a little below. This is the mountain. I'm just going to call it the mountain. Okay. And that beautiful. This is in the last few hours, sun up. And it looks to me, if you look at the top of Shasta, it doesn't look like they got a little snow last night. I think they did. Or yesterday. I think they got a little snow. Look at that. Come on. There's of course the Modoc Indians and all the Indian tribes around this mountain were spiritual. I'm spiritual. I'm not even spiritual, and I'm spiritual around the mountain. I don't know. Okay, this is the smoke. Remember I mentioned the smoke and the wind, the smoke advisory in parts of Nevada. You'll see the smoke start to filter in to Whitney, and see, it's just kind of getting in. It's not a ton of smoke. This would be from a couple of the fires, probably the Garnet fire, and you see the smoke kind of coming in. And a few clouds too, a little moisture moistening up. Not a ton of smoke, but we can see it. Okay, jellyfish, finally. Damn. It's funny, I get in a zone when I do these. So when Franny barked, it kind of threw me off. And it's like, it's weird. I think we're all like that. When I'm reading a book, if my wife comes and talks to me, I'm like, I get tunnel vision-y. So it's sort of like it's super hard. In the old days, Franny would bark and I would go, I'm going to do the whole thing over again. And now I'm like, I appreciate that. If it drives you crazy, let me know. I mean, she's not barking now. That's cool. Here is rescue dog too. I hate rescue because I didn't rescue her from a fire. I just adopted her. But if you can, I've never had a pet who wasn't from the pound or whatever we call it. I don't even know what we call it, all my animals. And they're awesome. My dad, being a veterinarian, told me years ago, he said they live much longer. And they do. Not much longer, but they have less. If you look at the Labradoodles in your neighborhood, which I'm sure you got 100, they get weird things. They get eye gunk. They get weird diseases because they're bred, right? And so your mutts have a tendency to have a whole bunch of different immune system checks and balances. Some of these bred animal dogs, maybe all true of all animals, I don't know this, but this was Dad who just passed away. But that's what I think he was right. So yeah, if you can adopt, do it. It's so awesome. They are too, and they know what you did. Except I'm not sure Franny knows what we did. Okay, so that is a big bird. I don't know who that was. This is the Farallon Islands. It is an awesome place. Wouldn't it be fun to go spend a couple days out there? Just camp. I know the bird sanctuary people are. And then I got some bear stuff. Let's see if I can shut this down, start this up. I did highlights because there weren't any bears at the thing. Let's see what we're doing for time. I could run out here, but I want you to see the bears. And if I do run out, oh, look at baby. Oh, that's pretty awesome. Isn't it? Moms are just moms, man.